I have recently taken up mountain biking. Now, I'm by no means one of those real, intense bikers. I definitely cannot do the jumps. I can't even do a bunny hop. I don't go on very scary trails. I stay away from overly slick things like real steep declines or rock gardens and all that stuff. Not really into that. But there's something that's very important that I did learn from mountain biking that I have yet to master myself, but it's a very important lesson that does still apply with depression, anxiety, or addictions of any kind. And that's this, that you have to learn how to fall. Learn how to fall. If you're going to mountain bike, you just have to deal with the fact that you're going to fall. You're never going to be a perfect biker that never has any scrapes and never gets hurt, and it's just never going to happen. I know a guy, a YouTube biker, that he was doing something that wasn't even one of his, crazy things. He just put his leg down wrong, I guess, and but his leg got all messed up and stuff, and I think he had to have a cast on or something. Yeah, he couldn't bike for it was like 6 weeks or some nonsense like that. And it's just something that, he does a lot of wild things, and that's not what brought him down. It was just a very simple thing. And I think his leg twisted or something when he put it down, or I forget exactly what, but no matter how careful you are, you're going to have mistakes. Look at Jackie Chan, for instance. Okay, he's a very talented guy, extremely talented, and he's getting older, and he's still talented. He just blows me away, and his mindset about stuff, it really is great and all that. But he gets hurt a lot, and you look at him and you look at his coordination, and you think, this is a guy that knows what he's doing, and yeah, he does, but he still gets hurt. You look at these professional mountain bikers, and they still get hurt. And the big point here is learn how to fall, because it's going to happen. So if it's going to happen, you might as well do it well so that you won't die, so that your bike won't die, and your bike won't break, and so that you can keep going to bike hopefully the rest of that day, and obviously more in the future. Getting permanently hurt is bad, okay? So you're learning this very valuable skill, and at first it sounds like, well, I don't plan for a mistake. Well, that's stupid. I don't plan for failures. That's stupid. You are a person. You are going to have failures. You're going to have mistakes. And although you shouldn't jinx yourself, you shouldn't set yourself up for failure, you should realize also that there is that part of it's going to happen. I help people with their pornography addictions, and you can tell sometimes, even with the accountability software, that they've found ways to get around the accountability software, and they think that they're fooling people, but they're not. The reason why I still see it as a good thing is because whereas before they had unrestrained access to pornography, now it has restrained a little bit. Now they aren't looking at pornography on that device. Now they are at least having somewhat of a desire to stop looking at porn. See, and it may be a baby step. It might be a starting point, but it's a point on the journey that's very important. Very, very important. And sometimes we treat these little successes like, oh, that's just a waste of time. But here's the thing. You weren't having any successes before. So now a little success is very important. In fact, I would say little successes are oftentimes really big successes, but we just don't realize them because we're too busy looking for the bigger and the better. We're used to watching Hollywood all day, where everything's perfect all the time, and pornography videos where everything's perfect all the time, and drugs that make you feel perfect all the time. In the real world, things aren't perfect. Look at your house. Is there anything that you'd like to change on it? Is there anything that's not put up where it's supposed to go? Is there anybody that occasionally does something you don't like that lives in the same house as you? People aren't perfect. It's just something that we make mistakes, and so you have to plan for this. You have to accept it. You have to not necessarily, oh well, this is just who I am. Deal with it. No, still push yourself, still learn, still grow, but accept the reality of the situation and find a way to where that does not cripple you. I see some people, well, I'm going to stop doing this, and so then when they fail, it's just doomed from the start. I'm a failure. I'm never going to make it. No, you just messed up. It's okay. Get back up. Let's try again. And it's a whole different mindset with it. It's not all or nothing, black and white. It's not like that. It's like this. you're making an effort. That effort is valuable and it's heading you in a better direction. It might take you years to see any payoff for your effort, but it's coming nevertheless, as long as you try, as long as you work for it. So, looking at mountain biking, how to fall, how does that relate to this? Well, when you are dealing with your depression, when you're dealing with your anxiety, when you're dealing with, suicide and all these different things, learn how to fall. Instead of just throwing it all away. I saw something online the other day where it said, don't make a permanent decision on a temporary feeling or something like that. And the point is very valuable. As you're not always going to feel up for it. You're not always going to feel like fighting. You're not going to always feel like you're on your A game. Sometimes everything in your life is going to be a fight. And nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to be there. That's just the way the life is. But you can teach yourself to fall well. So just some ideas here. When you're mountain biking, you basically have three things. The first is protective gear. This would be like knee pads or a helmet. The second thing would be a bike. You can't go mountain biking without a bike. So, the right gear, the right piece of equipment. And then the third thing would be skill. When you first get out there on a mountain bike, you're just going to be like a turd out there. It's just going to be terrible. But eventually you learn the skills necessary for the task. And so how does this relate to what we're talking about? Well, number one, you have to learn what to do and how to react. When I feel like this, what am I going to do? What am I going to have in the way to help me to achieve that goal? Okay, so like for instance, I'm wanting to stop looking at porn. So what skills am I going to learn to help me to not look at porn? This is why I tell people that are deciding to do this. Take little baby steps. Every day, take a shower. Why? You're teaching yourself discipline. Getting up, getting at it. Discipline. Don't be staying up all late at night on the internet. Why? Because that's just asking for a problem. When you're going to be home alone, make sure that you don't have internet access. Maybe unplug the box, whatever. If you're going to look at porn, set a 5-minute timer. I can look at porn once the timer goes off. And even that 5 minutes, it does something in your head. And it teaches you to have discipline, to have, and if you can wait 5 minutes, eventually you're going to be able to wait 50 minutes. Or, you see what I mean? The thing is, you don't have to have an absolute victory. You just have to win long enough until the temptation is removed. See what I mean? So what can you do to help the temptation to be removed? Get around other people? Take cold showers? There's a lot of different ideas that people have. You have to find what works for you. So you have to learn, that's the first thing, skills. That relates to when you're on a mountain bike and you're learning how to ride it correctly. You have to learn what to do and how to react. Okay, I know that when I go there, this is going to be a temptation. So how can I either not go there or get around this, or see what I mean? And it really goes for anything. I'm not just talking about pornography here. I'm talking about depression, anxiety. I know that there's going to be something that comes up. So I'm going to learn skills. I'm going to learn to maybe exercise, maybe to eat healthy. And that's going to help me when my next bout of depression kicks in. Because it's going to help me feel better about myself maybe. Or maybe it's going to help the feelings not be so intense. Or maybe the feelings aren't even going to come at all. Learning those skills. And then the second thing that we were talking about was protection. We were talking about the headgear, the knee braces, and all that. This is protection. Okay, so what can you do here? Well, plan for failures. How do you plan for failures? Well, I know that around the new year, for instance, I'm gonna get real depressed. Okay, so what can you do to set up accountability, where people are checking in with you, or you're getting out to see people, or something? Limiting the time that you're alone, even if you don't feel like being around people. Maybe having a hobby that keeps your mind preoccupied. Once again, you don't have to think about, I'm going to win forever. You just have to think of getting through now, getting through today, getting through this moment. What conversations can I have with my friends, or what friends do I need to get rid of and add other friends in their place? If it comes down to you committing suicide or you making a different friend, make a different friend. Like it's not. It should be a no-brainer. I know it's not, but it should be a no-brainer. So this is the metaphor of protection. So we looked at learning skills, having protection. Then the next and the last thing that I wanted to mention was the equipment. So when you go mountain biking, it's important that you have a good mountain bike, something that you can, really, that will keep up with you, whatever kind of trails you're doing, right? So get the right equipment for the job. So this would be like, maybe you need to start exercising, and maybe you need to start taking that seriously. Maybe you need to remember that you're not immortal and you will die one day, and it's not about living for forever, but it's about making today a little bit easier. See what I mean? And that builds into tomorrow. Okay, and then maybe you need to stop dancing around the issue and get on medication. Some people have spiritual problems, some people have physical problems, some people have both. And you have to do a real serious heart searching and start dealing with that. Sometimes you're going to have a mental issue, and you might not like it, but if that's the way you got to go, you got to do it. Do with whatever you got to do. This is getting the equipment for the job. Maybe you need to start going to church. Maybe you need to stop with all this, I don't believe in organized religion, and get the help that you need. If it's a spiritual issue, yeah, I'm not saying go and get in a legalistic religion that all this stuff, but there is hope in Jesus. And true Christians aren't racists. True Christians drop everything to help each other. They don't sit around backbiting and talking about how great President Trump is. That's not Christianity. Christianity is about Jesus and Him alone. Maybe we've had some bad experiences. I have had so many bad experiences I can't even count. And then I got hired on as an associate pastor at a different church. And let me tell you, if they want anything to make you feel like a bigger loser in the world, become a pastor. Nobody cares about you. Nobody cares about anything you do. They don't care if you live or die. They complain to you about everything. I get it. I've had lots of bad experiences. But I don't live my life for the sake of religion. I live my life for the sake of God. And I have purpose. And I'm not looking for the acceptance or approval of others. I serve people. I love people. But my life is for God. And I found a lot of peace in that. So you gotta, those three things. Learn the skills that you need to deal with whatever you're dealing with. Be it, porn or depression or anxiety, suicide, whatever. Learn get the protection that you need to get you through it. Maybe it will be friends or hobbies or whatever. And then get the equipment that you need. Maybe it will be something like medication, or maybe it'll be something like church. You gotta be willing to make changes to your life. You can't live how you've always lived and then expect for somehow something different to happen. It's not gonna happen. So learn to fall well. Okay, what are you gonna do when you've been off of alcohol for 3 months and you take a sip again and you feel so distraught? Are you gonna keep drinking? What are you gonna do when you bump into your old druggy friend and you guys go and get, what are you going to do? How are you going to bounce back? When that happens, when you do fall, do everything you can to succeed. Do everything you can to work towards the goal. But what are you going to do when you fall short? What are you going to do when you wake up and you just don't feel like even trying? What are you going to do? What's your backup plan? What's your motivator? You wake up and you're like, I'm just so depressed. I don't feel like going out and going for a jog this morning. I just don't feel like it. Nobody cares if I live or die. So what are you going to do about it when those times hit? It's easy to decide you're going to do something when people have your back and you just feel super motivated and it's a good sunny day. Man, but what are you going to do in the winter months when it's cloudy outside and snowy and nobody cares about you? What are you going to do then? How can you learn how to fall in such a way where instead of dealing with a bout of depression that ends in suicide, dealing with a bout of depression that ends in making it through today? Learn how to fall well. Yeah, you're going to have depression that comes in the future, and then you're going to have things that you wish you wouldn't have done, okay? But what are you going to do with that? Where are you going to take it? And I hope that this was helpful. I hope that it was encouraging. Please don't give up. And, don't hesitate to ask for help. If you want to do it more anonymously, they have like chat. The internet has really changed. You can do chats online. You can call people 24/7. You can, I mean, if you just look suicide prevention right there, that's all you had to do. If you have internet access, it's there. If you don't have internet access, how are you watching this video? But get people in your life that do care. Maybe if there's a emergency center in your city or something like that, somewhere that you can go. I know nowadays it's really hard because everything's closed with COVID, but surely there's somewhere around that you can go. And don't call you Shirley. So okay, that's really all for today. Learn how to fall well.